Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be discussing something that I noticed about Ninjago Crystalized Part 2, judging from the trailers and the footage that we've seen thus far, that in a way is kind of a weird and sinister parallel to something that we saw in Ninjago Season 2 during the final battle saga. In today's video, my goal is to compare the two scenes, one of which is from the Ninjago Crystalized Part 2 trailer, and the other is from Ninjago Season 2, Legacy of the Green Ninja. These two sequences are awfully familiar in my opinion, and I just want to talk about why that may be and what the Overlord or the Crystal King's ultimate plan may end up being once Ninjago Crystalized Part 2 does actually get released. So just a pretty casual comparison video here today. I believe this was interesting and I do want to talk about it, but before we do, I must give you guys a very quick spoiler warning. Just in case I end up being correct about something that I theorize about in today's video, there is your brief spoiler warning. There's not going to be any explicit spoilers for Ninjago Crystalized Part 2. This is only just in case something I predict ends up being correct. So without further ado, why don't we jump on over to the official trailer for Ninjago Crystalized, and then we'll take a look at the sequence from Season 2, which I find Crystalized to have paralleled in a very interesting and expansive way. So the scene in question is this moment in the trailer right here, when all of the villains are kind of surrounding this weird crystal in the middle of the Crystal King's temple, presumably, and they all get crystallized, for lack of a better word. We can see Mr. F transforming into his new incarnation that we see in the Ninjago Crystalized sets. While we do not see the actual full picture right here, we can see that silhouette. That is very much how he looks in the sets. Same deal with Asphira. She looks how she looks in the sets as well. So essentially what's going on here is that the Crystal King is upgrading his council. They're all getting upgrades to them. They all have new looks. At least for the most part, some of their designs are a little bit more traditional, as is the case with the Skull Sorcerer. His design doesn't change that much for the actual Crystallized story, but the rest of these guys do undergo some type of design change, as is the case with Mr. F right here, and is also the case with Asphira right here. What's also interesting is that this moment right here is presumably when the Crystal Council gets their new weapons, which of course are crystallized versions of the original golden weapons. The weapons themselves can be seen getting crystallized alongside the villains. We have the nunchucks presumably over here. Not sure if you guys can see, but the Sword of Fire is off over in this general direction, and eventually the Sword of Fire does get assigned to Asphira, and she claims it with a look of satisfaction and pride on her face. She looks really happy to have just been handed that weapon. What I'm thinking is going on here is that the Crystal King, once again, is upgrading his army, upgrading his council, and of course giving them the literal power of the first Spinjitzu master. However, like I've said in the intro, this entire situation, this entire scene right here, reminds me very much of a moment from Ninjago Season 2, which of course is this moment right over here, when the ninja themselves enter the Temple of Light and obtain some type of new power in a similar fashion. I'm sure you guys remember this moment from the Island of Darkness episode. This is actually my favorite Ninjago episode of all time, partially because of this moment right here, where the ninja get upgraded with the power of their new elemental blades and their new kimonos. This entire moment is just really magical in my opinion, and it shows the type of power the ninja need in order to come face to face with the Overlord. They need this type of power, they need this big boost in energy, and who's to say that this moment from Ninjago Crystalized isn't just blatantly copying that? Obviously, I'm not saying that Crystalized is a ripoff of Ninjago Season 2. That wouldn't make any sense because this is all the same series, but I'm just saying this idea is very much borrowed from Ninjago Season 2, but this time it's a little bit more sinister. There's a little bit more of an evil twist to the whole thing, which I do believe is intentional, especially because the Crystal King is all but confirmed to be the Overlord. Yeah, it very much makes sense that he would want to go back and try to copy this moment right here, where the ninja obtained an immense amount of power that was almost a match for the Overlord himself. It seems like he's going to want to use this power on his own evil army, hence this sequence right here in Ninjago Crystalized. Now, I'm not really sure if the crystals that are found in this sequence right here are similar to the crystals that are found in this scene. I did a video a long time ago talking about that possibility. The light bounces off the crystals and of course does indeed upgrade the individual ninja, but these crystals and these crystals do look very different. There's just one giant one here that is seemingly controlling the entire operation, while in the Temple of Light scenario, Lloyd was the one giving out the power and the ninja just obtained the power from him, regaining their elemental powers through the blades and obviously getting stronger in the process. I'm not sure if the crystals have something to do with this sequence right here, like I said, but if so, I could totally see these crystals as being reverse engineered versions of these crystals in the Temple of Light, meant for the same purpose but with a more sinister twist, like I said. It's not the exact same scene, obviously. There's going to be a lot going on here that's obviously going to be different. For one, this is not going to be as noble as this scene right here. Over here in Crystallized, I doubt the villains are going to have some weird team-up thing where they decide to share their power. Probably not going to happen. All of these guys are pretty selfish in nature, so I'm not really sure if they're going to be teaming up. Seems like they're going to be looking out for their own individual ambitions. But again, it does seem very similar to the whole Temple of Light scenario. I would not be surprised surprised if the entire Crystal King temple itself was sort of constructed to be a more evil version of the Temple of Light. It seems like maybe it could have that potential, that identity, being a twisted and more evil version of what we know is so pure and good across all of Ninjago. Certainly seems to be the case right here, and honestly, I would not be surprised. The Crystal King, otherwise known as the Overlord, is going to be getting up to some pretty interesting stuff this season, and I believe a lot of his power, a lot of the inspiration for his quest to find power, will indeed come from what he's experienced prior in the Ninjago series. He's using the power of the first Spinjitzu Master against the ninja, just like they used against him during Season 2, and he's also blatantly copying what the first Spinjitzu Master stood for right here, the creation of the Temple of Light and the power that comes with it. And once again, I do not think this is a bad thing. In fact, it's kind of interesting seeing how these parallels span across years and almost decades of time to get from a scene like this to a scene like this over here, where it's just chaos and destruction and just evilness all around. I also find it interesting in terms of how different these two scenes are as well. It is very obvious where the differences are. This scene right here has an emphasis on evil and corruption, while this scene right here represents the light and the purity that comes with it, and I feel like those types of parallels is what makes Ninjago such a successful series, that they're able to go back to the earlier seasons and adopt something that we know and twist it and spin it into something brand new, which of course is a little bit more sinister and a little bit more, dare I say, effective in what it's trying to propose. Maybe I'm looking too far into this, but I feel like this sequence right here is very much some type of copy of this scene right here, where the ninja get their powers in the Temple of Light, obtain a new set of power along with the elemental blades. It's hardly a coincidence. They're all standing in a circle, they all get new powers, they all get new outfits, and they all get new weapons. It seems like there's something awfully familiar going on here, and again, I don't think that's a bad thing, not in the slightest. So with that being said, guys, that'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Leave a comment down below discussing what you think about these parallels. What do you think the crystals do in the Crystal King's temple? Do you think this sequence in Ninjago Crystalized was supposed to parallel the Temple of Light sequence during Ninjago Season 2? Again, maybe I'm looking a little bit too deep into this, but I just thought it was pretty cool. Me being a big fan of the Final Battle saga, and especially Island of Darkness, I couldn't help but notice these similarities, and I couldn't help but make a video talking about them. So with that being said, leave our thoughts down below. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Any and all comments are welcome down below. Make your opinion known. What do you think about this entire thing? Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys in the next upload. Peace.